back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys! So I am here today to do a book review, and this book is one that I picked up after one of the other judges for SPFBO really recommended it. This one was not a finalist, it ended up being a semi-finalist, however, and I definitely want to try and read some of the semi-finalists, definitely not all because there's loads of them, but some of the semi-finalists this year for SPFBO because I tend to only focus on the finalists when actually so many of the semi-finalists are super worthy competitors. So I really wanted to pick this one up when Nils recommended it. I'll put a link to her review down below if you guys are interested in her thoughts as well, because she's the one who raved so much about it and made me want to pick it up. And this was really cheap. I think it was about £2 on Kindle, so I picked it up, I bought it, why not? This story is a very tribe-based story. It certainly had vibes, I feel like, of the Clan of the Cave Bear series, but that one feels a little dated to me in style, and this one feels a lot more fresh and modern. But it's the tribe-like kind of traveller vibe that definitely translated from that series into this one, and I definitely feel the sense of travel and the sense of adventure is strong throughout this book. I really like societies in fantasy which focus on travel as a main kind of point. This particularly does, because the world that we are brought into is a world where there are two different types of people essentially. We have the settlers, who are kind of normal human tribes where they settle down somewhere, they build a town and they just camp there, and that's kind of what they do. And then we have the tribal people, who each of those tribes wanders around different terrains and territories throughout the year. They kind of do so following the seasons and by the best hunting grounds, by their leader, and also by their kind of spiritual leader, I suppose you'd call him, who is called the Long Walker. It definitely feels like it's easy to get into right from the beginning, and I certainly found that I liked the characters and the world very quickly off the bat from reading this. So we mainly follow one particular tribe and the communer of that tribe, who is called Kada, and she is supposed to be able to contact the Long Walker, who is their spirit guide, who will hopefully advise the tribe of where to go, where's the best place for them to follow and wander and kind of live their lives, but following his ways. So she's supposed to be able to contact him, but actually she has a secret and she cannot contact him at the moment. She has tried a lot and she just has not been able to since the death of her parents. Before that, she did manage to contact him and she was able to commune, but she hasn't been able to for a long time. And so a lot of the decisions of her tribe recently, in the last few years, have kind of been her guesswork. And she's getting a lot of pressure put on her to make the right decisions, because their civilization as a whole, their tribal kind of travelling vibes, are really getting tampered with by the settlers, and the settlers are fighting a war against them that it looks hard to beat. So they really need to find a new place and a new way to live, and kind of a lot of the pressure of that is put on Kada. So I really liked her as a character, and I also really liked her brother, who is called Fingal, which is one of the best names. It just kept reminding me of Pringle. And I really liked their relationship together, Fingal and Kada. I feel like they had a really nice kind of sibling bond, and they were there to support one another throughout the whole book, even when their kind of beliefs did not line up, because there are various things that they disagree on, to do with the Long Walker, to do with kind of their place in history and what they should be doing and where they should be going. They definitely don't always agree, but they always do have one another's backs and they always do look out for each other, which I felt was really, really lovely to see. That kind of relationship in this book. One of the things that is quite poignant right at the start is that the Long Walker and the lore of this world in general all points them towards this particular land that they are trying to get to and trying to settle in, because it was the land of their forefathers. It is a land that they have kind of continually passed down through their oral histories, and it's somewhere that they all speak of as their long-term home. If they can get there, if they can find it, then they can settle there and wander the way that they have, but across that land rather than the land where the settlers live. So it's definitely a travelling story. It's a story where there is a lot of trekking around and trying to follow and uncover the meaning of the Long Walker and the spirits. I really enjoyed the fact that as they do travel around, the different characters of this story, they find a lot of different areas of the world. Some of it is ancient civilizations, some of it is very different kind of different landscapes to what they're expecting and what they're used to, and we do go through a vast amount of terrain, which I particularly like. I also think the wildlife and the forests that they kind of travel through are really well described by the author, and they definitely feel as though they give a real sense of atmosphere to the characters, and a sense of foreboding at times, or a sense of welcome at other times, depending on where they go and what they encounter when they get there. There is magic in this world, but it's mainly in the form of the spirit walker, who is their spirit guide, and also through sort of magical creatures, different warped beasts and goblins, they call them in this story, who are just these horrible kind of creatures who just seem to be a bit mindless and very much on the defensive. So they encounter all sorts of magical creatures as they go along their journey, and they also are trying constantly to follow the way of the Long Walker, but that is quite a task. We also have one more character who is also a communer, and her story kind of was a little bit more mysterious than Kaida's. We take a while to really understand who she is and what she wants, because she seems to be interfering in their tribal structure and kind of challenging Kaida, and generally challenging the tribe to maybe oust Kaida. I didn't like her character quite as much. I feel like she was a little bit predictable to me, and I did manage to anticipate some of the areas that she went to and some of the motives and some of the ways that she was going to trick people and do things. So I don't feel like she was the most original character to me, but that might just be a personal thing. I might have just got lucky being able to guess what she was going to do. I do think some of the beasts of the world and the ancient civilization of the world could certainly do with a bit more explanation, and I would like to see a little bit more of that as the story went on. I do believe book 2 is either out or came out very recently, or is coming out very soon. I think it's out, but it didn't have any reviews yet, so I don't know how the story continues on. But I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued enough to wonder about whether I'll pick up the next one. I certainly feel as though this had a lot of potential. It definitely felt like the more I got into it, I found myself sucked in, if that makes sense. So I do think there is potential here, and I do think the author can definitely write. And I certainly would recommend it if any of the things I've spoken about do appeal to you particularly. But yeah, it's quite a different read from a lot of books I have picked up recently, and I felt like it was a fresh look at kind of this travelling culture. So if you are interested in that kind of story, then maybe give this one a go. As I say, it was really cheap when I picked it up, so I highly recommend supporting self-published authors who deserve it, and I think this one does. And I ended up giving this a 3.5 out of 5, which is 7 out of 10 for SPFBO purposes, and I really recommend you guys checking this one out and giving it some support and love, and let me know in the comments if you do pick it up, because I'd be very interested to see what you guys think as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye guys!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.